Oh, hello! Oh, Chameleos, I'm so happy. Wait, no, where are you going? Oh!
Goodbye!
Okay, that was mean. Still, I love you. I'm so glad you're here. I can't wait to... What? What was that? Oh yes, indeed, fellow hunters. There is a mystery afoot. See, at the end of the Chameleos teaser, there is a roar. A very interesting roar indeed. A roar that takes place during Get Ready to Take On More Monsters. A roar that accompanies the promise of a title update that will have multiple monsters. A roar that belongs to who? Well, let's try and answer that. Now, this kind of is an awkward one, because look, we know our monster roars. If we can hear it and have any kind of, maybe this, that, kind of, then it probably doesn't belong to whoever you're thinking of. But they do update roars, they do change them, they do like to polish them up for newer games, so it might be similar enough to something else. So let's have a look. My first initial kind of thinking is, well... Amatsu. And to me, this is chiefly because it has that kind of, you know, like that kind of almost like beautiful, whiny, long, echoey sound. It's quite hard to put into words outside of, you know, the literal. And I feel like there is some similarities there, but is it an exact match? I mean, Amatsu generally is accompanied by the lashing rain, but of course that's an environmental thing, but there really is just too many, at least to me, kind of differences back and forth in the tone and cadence of it. So, you know, we kind of need to keep looking. I've seen suggestions that it may be something along the lines of Lagiacrus. To me, I can see if you focus just on the two very end bits. There is that sort of same, oh yes, you know, the mighty Lagiacrus crashed the waves and, why am I even, like, I can just, like, you know, this sound that, which is similar on both, but you can't ignore the fact that the rest of the entire roar is completely different. So, I think we can safely run that out. You know, if we look at something even more out there, like... Durambarosh, they do again have that similar ending. But you gotta see the theme, roars are similar. It's big giant monster bellowing. There's only so much you can do, and while there are incredibly unique roars in the series, the fact that we're having to think so hard what could this be is definitely telling. Now, let's not beat around the bush here then. The main candidate for this roar is a certain...
Gore Magala!
See, well, listen. It's not far off, is it? But I don't think it's still that perfect one-to-one match. There's definitely a few little differences here. Certainly the pitch is different between them, but the gore is kind of an almost more clicky roar, whereas this again has that sort of long whine sound to it. So while it's close, I'm not sure, but Gore Magala, you see, has a second roar. One for when he's right proper frenzy moded up, his feelers are out. And I've seen people suggest that this is the roar that it is, but to me that's even less of a match than the normal Raw. This one has got way more kind of like from the gore. Again, it's hard to, you know, vocalize the roar of a monster being vocalized, but you get what I mean. The pacing is all wrong to me. The frenzy gore roar is rough. This roar is smooth. So, I think while Gore is the most accurate match so far, I don't think it's anything to be like, haha, it's Gore! And the thing is, why would it be Gore? Why in an update that involves Chameleos as the Star Elder Dragon finally coming back to the 5th gen, would you then be like, oh, and by the way, here's Gore Magala, the Frenzy monster, let's do a whole story about the Frenzy, because you need to. Putting Gore Magala in randomly doesn't make sense, because you can't just ignore the Frenzy. It is too impactful. It destroys ecosystems. It infects everyone. It is a crisis. You have to give it its own little story. And while a title update could be the Gore Magala chapter, putting it as the backdrop to Chameleos seems weird. You could easily make Gore the star of the show, and they would if he was in. So what else could it be? Well, the thing is, Chameleos doesn't really roar. At least he didn't used to, but he does have a roar. He really, really does, and it sounds a little something like this. And one more time. And then the new mystery roar. I think that we can kind of really get a one-to-one match here. It seems that Chameleos will actually now completely open with a roar, have a roar, and it's this roar updated and made just that much more polished. I mean, listen to the ending of each. That like, like that, it's a one, like it goes down then up at the exact same time. God, I'm so good at technical audio talk. But it has the exact same drop off, that little bit of, at the end. It's new Chameleos roar. That's what my gut is telling me. It sounds too close of a match. Which is kind of disappointing because the roar happens during, literally, get ready to take on more monsters, and they have a habit of teasing other monsters with roars, so I can kind of see why there was a frenzy to work this out. Gore Magala, yeah, you know, Gore Magala. And I'll be honest, it's almost as disappointing as the fact that Chameleos has a literal kind of normal sort of eye instead of the classic chameleon swirl. So, yeah, apart from that though, he is looking totally gorgeous. So to me then, to put it in a TLDR, I think the number one most likely answer and match is just updated Chameleos roar, and people don't recognize it because Chameleos essentially just never roars, to entirely a new monster that we've not seen yet to accompany Chameleos, which I think is a fairly decent chance, and then 3, pushing it at best, the closest existing match that at least I can find is Gore Magala. Past that, I think we're being a little bit optimistic. But that's my take on the mystery roar, and in any case, it's certainly very cool to delve into stuff like this and see what we can work out. But for now, like if you enjoyed this, subscribe for more, and I will see you soon. Let me know what you think. I would love to know your own theories and sources and origins of this brand new bellow. Goodbye.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world our stage. Goodbye.